What's up, guys? So I have another gay epiphany to share with you. A few months ago I made a video talking about how I decided to leave all the apps, Grindr especially, but also Tinder and all the other apps of that sort, except for Bumble. I talked about how that was the only one that I was going to stay on for a bit, just because Bumble feels theoretically more serious than the other apps. The way that Bumble works, if you've never used it, when you match with somebody, you have to chat. You both have to reach out in the first 24 hours. Otherwise, it disconnects you and you can't chat anymore. So theoretically, it's like a more, serious user base, like people who are actually looking for something and are gonna put in the effort, not just play around and match like some of the other apps. And also, I just figured it was more low maintenance and more low pressure because it's a way smaller user base than some of these other apps. So literally on any given day, it was like there were only a few people for me to swipe through. So I stayed on Bumble and it didn't end well. Most of the guys that I was matching with didn't even respond in the first 24 hours, or they would unmatch me in the first 24 hours. And then finally a guy came along and we started chatting and he seemed really cool. So we were going back and forth. And then he said, "What are you looking for on here?" And I said, ideally dates, but I'm open, I'm new-ish to Miami, so I don't want to be too picky and too selective, these have to be the parameters and this has to be exactly what I want it to be when I meet somebody. So that's what I said. And he said, "Well, I'm only looking for friends." And so in my mind, I'm like, what does that mean? Does he mean friends with benefits? Because if we both matched, it means we're both attracted to each other, right? So it is a dating app after all. Does he mean friends with benefits? Or my next thought was he's committed and is looking for, like in an open relationship or something, and looking for a friend. So I asked further, I was like, do you mean a friend with benefits? Are you actually single? And he said something even weirder. He said, "I'm single, but I met somebody 2 days ago." Which to me was like, if you met somebody 2 days ago, it's probably not that serious, so you don't even have to mention that. But regardless, I was like, listen, this is kind of strange. Like, if we're both attracted to each other and you just met somebody, but you think it could be serious, I don't know that a friendship is appropriate then. And he ended up unmatching me because I was probably too complicated with my questions for him, even though in my mind, those are completely reasonable questions and it's normal to be perplexed by his responses. But, I was kind of annoyed because I thought, here's another guy who is on a dating app and doesn't want something committal or something romantic with another guy. That's kind of the gay stereotype, right? So I was kind of annoyed, decided to finally get rid of the app. And about a week later, I caved and I was like, you know what? Let me re-download Tinder because it's a bigger user base and whatever. I just caved. Pandemic has me very isolated. So I re-download Tinder and I match with a few guys and I start talking to one guy and he actually seems, again, really cool. We go back and forth. And again, he's like, "What are you looking for?" And because of the guy on Bumble, I was like, here we go. If somebody is asking what you're looking for on an app that's known to be a dating app, they're probably not looking for dates. They're probably looking for something different. So I'm like, what exactly is this situation about? And he had his Instagram handle in his bio. So I go to check his Instagram just out of curiosity to get more context. And my heart sank because all of his recent pictures are clearly with a girl who is his girlfriend or his wife or some kind of significant other, because they're holding hands, she's sitting on his lap, they're kissing, and it's very Instagram, picturesque, them in front of a waterfall, them, holding hands on the beach, that whole kind of thing. And so in my mind, I'm like, here's a guy looking for fun on the side, a side piece to his otherwise vanilla, cute, heterosexual relationship. And I asked, I was like, "Are you already in a relationship based on your Instagram?" And he was like, "Yeah, I am. Sorry, I should have clarified." And this totally put this, pit feeling in my stomach. That I was like, why is this my experience? Why is this our experience as gay men? It's almost like the gay tragedy, that we can't be seen as anything other than the object of another man's lust, right? That we can't have the traditional thing that straight people get to have. Why is it like this? And why is it that while my straight friends get to go on apps like this and actually meet somebody and actually go on dates, my experience, more so than not, is like this. It's hookup oriented, or it's like being somebody's side piece. And I don't want that for myself. I feel like I'm worthy of something just as traditional as the next straight person. So it really bothered me, and I thought about it the rest of the day. Particularly just because it was like 2 in a row, right? The guy on Bumble and now this guy on Tinder. But then I had my epiphany, and I realized, it felt like deception that this guy, actually both guys, weren't upfront from the start on their profile saying, I'm only looking for X, Y, and Z, and being transparent with it. In which case, by the way, I think it's fine. I think if you're very clear with your intentions and you don't waste people's times, look for whatever you want. I just don't want to get my feelings hurt in the process. My epiphany was that I've only been talking to this guy for a few days. Like, the emotional investment has been very minimal. It sucks, my feelings are kind of hurt or whatever, but it's not like I've invested months or years into this guy the way that his partner has. And for all I know, she's aware, she's okay with it. That could be the case. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's cheating on her, but I thought, wow, I would hate to be in her shoes. Like, even if she's aware of it, I would hate to be in this situation where I've invested months or years into somebody and they're on Tinder looking for somebody of the same sex, even though we're of the opposite sex. They're looking for a gay hookup partner, and that's something that I could never provide to my partner. Like, that to me seems more emotionally hurtful than anything I could experience just, swiping through guys on Tinder. And so whether she knows or not, it made me realize the grass is always greener. Like, here I am assuming that this is the gay experience, and why does this always happen? But there are plenty of women like this who have these picturesque Instagram photos, and they're showing off their relationship on social media, and yet behind closed doors it's clearly not a perfect relationship if her partner is on Tinder looking for gay guys to hook up with. And then I think about all my friends, straight friends, who have had more traditional relationships, but they were completely deceived and didn't realize they were being cheated on, or that there was an affair, or the guy brought home an STD, or whatever the case was. So I think it's important for me to remind myself of that the grass is often greener on the other side, but it's because of fertilizer, it's because of AstroTurf, it's artificially greener, it's not actually naturally, organically greener. And I always have to remind myself, like, I'd rather learn these lessons through small doses of these situations that are unpleasant and are disappointing. I would rather have it that way than be in this girl's shoes. This isn't a gay problem, this is just a people problem. People don't know what they want, and they don't know how to ask for what they want, and they don't know how to be completely transparent, and it ends up hurting the feelings of people like me in the meantime. But I'd rather be knowledgeable and have the perspective that I do, I guess, than potentially be in a situation where I'm completely deceived and don't see the bigger picture. Thanks for watching.